Good morning, everyone. I'm going to give a few seconds for people to hop on who want to hop on. It's the first morning I actually don't have a mug with me because my husband has now woken up and made coffee every morning, and it's the first thing I have now, and I drink it so fast. It's like a plus and a minus that he wakes up and he makes it for us. It's already been quite a morning, and it's only like not even 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Insane. So today's topic is finding joy in the hustle. And I've probably made a video about this in the past under a different title. But it's today going to have a little bit of a different twist. So we are currently in new moon phase, which new moons are always a time for new beginnings and for setting the intention for your new beginning for the next month. New moons are for me, a very sacred time in particular. Full moons also, but full moons are more about celebrating harvest and giving thanks for what has come to pass in the past month. So the new moon is really about creating the intention for the following month. And it just so happens that this new moon is in Sagittarius, which is my solar sign, my sun sign. And what I know about my particular sign, governed by Jupiter, which is the planet of expansion, is that whenever this new moon comes about, the message is really about breaking limiting beliefs and stepping into a more expansive version of ourselves. And this can be quite challenging if you are resisting change, or you know that there's a direction that you have to take in your life, but you're very resistant to that, or if you're very comfortable where you are. The idea of breaking away from old patterns and striking out new under this sign of Sagittarian expansion is uncomfortable a lot of times for people. So I want to talk about joy in the hustle, and I want to make something very clear out of the gate, that hustle does not mean struggle. Okay? I just want to separate those two things. Struggling is not fun. Hustling can be. And there's a difference. And so what I mean by that is, when I talk about the struggle, it's when struggling comes out of resistance. So it's not work, it's resistance to work. So when you don't want to do something that you know you should, you struggle. Whereas hustling is just working. It's working for whatever you want, for whether it's a business, a job, a fitness program, nutritional program, whatever it is. Hustling is just putting in the work, right? So finding joy in the hustle. And when I say that this can make or break your experience, is that in our society in particular, we tend to glorify ends. We tend to glorify success, accomplishment, the medals, the awards, the money in the bank, whatever. We glorify the end result, but we have very little tolerance for what it takes to get to the end result. In other words, many people want to have a six-pack. Many people do not want to work to have a six-pack. They just want to wake up one day and have shredded abs without having to put in the physical work or the nutritional work. Many people want to have $1 million, but nobody really wants to put in the effort to make $1 million. They just want to wake up one day and have $1 million in the bank, or win the lottery, which your chances of starting a business and making $1 million are like a million times better than winning the lottery, by the way. You should know that. So in this culture, we glorify the end, we glorify the success, but we have very, very little tolerance for the road in between where you are and the end goal or the success point, right? And so what will make you successful is finding joy in the hustle, finding joy on the path to your end goal, to your vision. Super important that you have a vision, super important that you understand where you want to go, what you want out of your life, out of your experience, whether it's a financial goal or a health goal or whatever that is. The vision of where you want to be is super important because it's like a guiding post for where you're going. But even more important is that you are finding joy in the day-to-day journey towards that endpoint, where many people get quickly dissatisfied and quit. And I see this with people working businesses and people on a fitness journey. And it's the reason why I quit previously on my fitness journeys, because I would start a program, maybe the first day was all right, and Core de Force is a perfect example. Day 2 is very challenging. It's supposed to be very challenging, right? It's supposed to kind of test your general fitness. So there are many moves I could not do, really, on day 2 at all. In the past, I would have been like, well, clearly this program is not for me because I can't do these 2 moves or whatever. But what I did was, okay, I can't do those right now, so I'm going to do a modified version of whatever that is that I can do until I get to the point where I can do that. And I found joy in making that choice and that decision. And do I still feel sore today? Hell yes, I feel sore today. It was an amazing workout. And I know that at some point I will get to the point where I can do those things, just not right now. And so for me, what's helped me have longevity in my fitness journey and longevity in my business journey has been finding joy in the day-to-day activities. We are not going to like everything we have to do, you guys. I need you to hear this. When you have a business or when you're working out or when you're changing the way that you eat, there are going to be some days where you're downright pissed that you have to do that. You are not going to want to do everything that's in your good for your good. You're just not going to want to do those things, right? There are some days where you're going to be all pumped up about it and some days where you're going to be like, I'm done, right? But if you can bring yourself kind of like create the joy for the hustle, create the joy for the process, and allow yourself in that moment to find something enjoyable about the process. You know, maybe it's one fitness move that you do very, very well, or the fact that you feel sore the next day after you work out, and so that helps you feel really good about yourself. Or look at the positives in your business. Look at the positives in your relationships, right? If you can force yourself to find joy in those moments, just one thing that you find joyful about it, it'll continue to feed the longevity on your journey. And here's the truth, you guys. Success at anything, whether it's a fitness goal, business goal, money goal, family goal, marriage goal, is dependent on your willingness to show up every single day and be consistent with your hustle. That's what it's dependent on. If you are not willing to be consistent with the hustle, you will not see success. That is a fact. So if you are sitting there telling yourself, I want this, I want that, and you are quitting every time you start something, you're going to have a very hard time getting to what you want because you're giving up because you're not finding joy in the hustle, right? I think also we have this thing where we don't like to feel uncomfortable. We quit before we can feel uncomfortable, not pain, but discomfort, just like awkward or embarrassed or out of our comfort zone. We don't like to do that. So here's the other thing. If you're not willing to step outside of your comfort zone and get a little bit uncomfortable from time to time, you also will not see the level of success that you want to see, right? Because success comes from growing and from stepping into new territory and new territory and new territory, which comes by way of the hustle. So the more that you find joy in the day-to-day things that you are doing to get you to your end goal vision, the better your chances are of achieving that level of success that you envision because you're being more consistent. Joy helps us stay consistent. We like to do the things that bring us joy. So finding joy, generating joy out of the daily activities that typically might not be so enjoyable will ensure that you stay far more consistent with whatever your journey is. Okay, so this new moon is all about new beginnings. It's all about dropping your limitations, dropping your stories of why you can't do something, or I'm a parent, I can't do this, or I don't have the money to do this, or it's really about dropping the story. If you have been telling yourself the same story for months or maybe years about why you can't do something, it's time to really look at that story and decide that you're done telling yourself that story. Because stories are habitual, and the more you tell yourself the same thing over and over and over and over again, the more you're going to believe that over and over and over and over again. Okay, so time to decide moving into 2017, what do you want your story to be like, right? And how are you going to find joy in your hustle so that you can get to the end goal this time instead of falling short because you're upset that you have to hustle? We all have to hustle. Anybody that has money in the bank, a great physique, an awesome marriage, they had to hustle to get that. It didn't just show up that way. That's not how life works. And from the outside, we look at people and we assume they must have had it easy, or they got lucky, or whatever. No, that's not true. That's not how this happened. People that have great accomplishments worked for them. And they found joy in the hustle. That's how they got there. So if you want what they have, then it's time for you to find joy in the hustle. Because if you don't, you won't have that. It's very, very simple. Okay? So that is my morning message for you all. Take this into your day and sit down and decide how you are going to move forward into 2017. Make the decision that your 2017 experience is going to be about finding joy in your hustle, and that you're going to rewrite your story so that you can actually take massive action in the direction of where you want to go instead of where you've always gone. All right? Have a great Wednesday. Love you guys. Keep it positive.